Not really. Good evening. As I said many times, when I went to Iran, there was a dilemma for the Iranian government to call me, what to call me, doctor, engineer, blah, blah. And then they came at the end, after a week of deliberation, we call you philosopher. I said, I'm not a philosopher. I said, that's the only thing we can find in Parsi language. The title is not important. What the man carries is important. So everybody calls me Keshe. We put too much value on too many abbreviations, which actually don't exist. There is no doctors, professors, or whatever in the space. Why should we have it here? This when I was speaking to Neil, he says, you call me Neil, not Mr. blah blah. And I had the same discussion with one of the letters which we had from Barack Obama. He decided from the first communication to call me Dear Mehran, and he signs Dear Barack. Your faith, your friend Barack. He never called himself Obama. One day we released his private letters. Title doesn't count. He never put President Obama. He never addressed or whatever. And this is the most important thing. When we put titles away, we can talk very sincere. And this is the way it should be. There's no title. On the back of what John was saying, we have reached massive steps in what we wanted to do in past 72 hours, even since Thursday teaching. And we are on course to achieve what we set out, hopefully, if we get it before the Iranian New Year. And there's a lot of moves to bring the situation on the totally different angle. I'm sure in the next few days, and the speeches of Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran will be transcribed around the world, and you will see it, you will read it, which coincidentally or predestined started around about the same time, about 9 o'clock, as we went live on what you call it, on the broadcasting on Thursday teaching. If you notice, we started slightly late because as we were going to go on the 9 o'clock presentation, I received a call that His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei has gone live simultaneously with us. And if you listen to this speech, it's very, very fundamental. In the first 10 or 15 minutes, he refers that the next leader, the next person in the world, has to have a communication worldwide and bring the message of peace. He's laid out preparing the nation for the next step. We read it when it comes out. And this is what we have. We have international access, and our message is peace. And in a tricky way, he says a single man in old age needs help too. And I said, thank you very much. It's in the transcripts, you read it. In referring to, of course, we know who and why. In so many ways, the situation with us will change in the next few weeks. The TV channel is on one side, but we have been given what we asked for. You got to realize one of the reasons Keshe Foundation was not brought up so much by governments, because as an Iranian nuclear physicist, Ahmadinejad made the decision that he will not support because the Israelis pushed him. The present situation has changed. We have received full support as an Iranian scientist to go through the support of the leadership and so many ways the national offices, not the governmental offices. And since the change has come forward in past 3 months, we have gone from step to step. Yesterday or the day before, we acquired the offices of Keshe Foundation in Tehran, which was something we tried for a long time. And now they have the condition And now we gradually will announce in the next few days that we will take position in one of the leading universities of Iran as a Keshe Foundation inside the university. We have already received our offices, but now it's the practical work of setting up a new structure. And in that university, we'll invite world leaders and world scientists to come in. So we are on the right track. And as John said, very soon we'll make invitations to world leaders to Tehran. Without a doubt, it'll be done. And we will make the next step. We need a lot of support, but you have to understand there are a lot of people who lose with such a move. European communities and the American administration are under a lot of pressure. We saw what 140 members of the Senate have said to stop Iran developing even rockets, let alone nuclear heads. That they want to make it one of the conditions of start of the dialogue. They want to stop Iran giving finance and supporting other nations to stay independent, because Iran is supporting that kind of move by the look of it. But the interesting thing is, as I advised the Iranian government in the past 24 hours again, is we don't need to listen to none of this, because we are setting the new scene, we are setting the new structure. We go our way to share knowledge, deliver knowledge, and invite world scientists to come and learn. I don't think any top Americans or German or French scientists from any university will refuse to attend a conference in Tehran in how to learn the new flight system, or how to learn about the new plasma technology, radiation. We'll make this announcement in a very short time. We'll invite around about 20 top national scientists of the world, and those who are freelance scientists to come to Tehran. We guarantee corona-free zone, we guarantee a lot of things as technology of the Keshe Foundation allows. And most probably we have to wait till May when we see the end of the present office, because Keshe Foundation cannot run an office with the support of the what we call leadership when the office of the government is not synchronized, unless we go through a different channel, which there's a big possibility of. But then in a way it will become a very interesting negotiation with the West. You got to imagine negotiation where Iranian scientists negotiate in Arizona with the Americans inside their own country, which is rather unusual for them, for us to teach them the technology we have in Iran. But at the same time, we invite the Mexicans and the Brazilians and the Canadians and the Argentinians and the Chinese and the Russians and the Indians. It's two ways to handle this, and I have laid down the roadmap to the Iranian leadership the way I'll take it through. And if we get approval or adjusted according to national expectation, we will see such a move. You got to realize, asking for the American government to issue a visa to go to Arizona to teach the American scientists Iranian space nuclear technology with the presence of the honors is not going to be an easy bullet to swallow. Not for the Americans, nor either for the others. But we consider, as I said to our people, when we go to a village, we have to consider that they know nothing. So we have first of all to bring them in, to teach them what it is, the pen and the paper, and what it can be done to them, or what the benefit will have for them in the future. So, as I said, this kind of move needs a lot of support. And fortunately, up to this moment, we're receiving a lot of support inside and outside Iran in past 48 hours. It seems that we are about to bring something into open, and we are waiting for that silence we asked for. And we have to see. But don't be surprised if you will see American scientists in Iran within the next few months, and Iranian scientists in Arizona teaching Americans space technology. And then we release the machinery into US. We have a bad experience. Our Americans intercepted the Keshe Foundation technology when it was on the way to Fukushima. And this way we don't make a thief out of them. We bring it that they don't need to steal. As I always said, if you make a facility to make sure people around you don't need to steal, because you make everything in a way that, you make the process of them not to becoming a thief, then they don't commit a crime. You don't do anything wrong, and they don't need to punish for what you have allowed in a way you didn't think of. With us taking technology into heart of America, with the American space teaching and everything else, we stop them, what do you call it, stealing and committing a crime. But this way we share it openly. And with it, as I've set out my roadmap, the way I will handle negotiation is that we are not asking for any sanctions to be withdrawn. We don't ask for anything to be changed. We take our own course, and let's see how the governments behave. I'll give in 3 months before the whole 5+1 to break to pieces. 6 months max. We change the position by not giving, but by teaching from the point of a strength. And at the same time, we sign collateral agreement that we bring the technology and what will bring back to Iran collaterally on the payment of the technology delivered. We make more or less a Microsoft out of Keshe Foundation, plus Apple, plus General Electric, plus General Motor, all put together as a resource assets of one nation, which become then as one nation, one planet. It's taking shape, and it's taking shape beautifully up to now. And we'll see how it goes. But don't be surprised if you see Iranian scientists, as John said, in Arizona teaching American and the rest of the world what we call the knowledge of space. Because they say they're afraid to come to Iran. We go to our own place, we are partners of both Mexico and Arizona. So we are going home. We are not going away from home. We're going from home to another, where is a home of knowledge and technology and peace. In past 48 hours, the moves we have seen is enormous. We cannot even explain. Even in past, just before I come on to listen, we received another good news from Iran. We have to wait, but be patient, but at the same time carry on teaching. And Thursday teaching, our servers were showing that Biden office were live online. The White House was sitting online. The Chinese leadership was online. We know even who in China was listening to. The Russians were online. And we are talking at the presidential level, not at normal people. You got to understand, we use the Keshe Foundation. Even today's talk, Americans are online. We just know they are there to listen to what is the new layout, how to handle it. We don't need to be handled anymore, because As I said, the Keshe Foundation, there are no borders. We speak different languages in different parts. And it's very much as you travel in different part of different countries, from one village to another, you don't understand the dialect. But we walk bigger villages, we call it cities and countries. But in essence and by totality, we are all the same. But the changes have started, and it's not us telling, but we've seen the movement from government. You got to understand, as I said, for the President of United States to ask for Keshe Foundation technology on the day of his election, we saw for the second time synchronization of the world leader to be simultaneous as we speak on the teaching. And very much read the transcript. Iran, for the first time, has sent a lot of messages of peace in line with what we asked for. For the first time, in the speeches of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, there is no rhetoric of war. It is the message we should ask. Continuous emphasis on all how is there. We show power with the knowledge, but we stand on the line of the peace the way we've been. We speak the same language. Listen to it, find a transcript, and you understand. And compare to the talks of 2 years ago, or a year ago, or even 6 months ago from Iranian leadership. It's even called just before the teaching at about more or less the same time to tell us that His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei has gone online live simultaneously with you. The message is very clear. So we'll see. But we have started a move, and many people try to break it up. Many people do not like to see the peace, but we have no choice. Too many unemployed, too much financial problem in the countries. We have to show a new way that the nations move with us. We don't have any more arms to sell, but now we change everything into new technology, new plasma technology, new understanding of physics, and a lot of changes and excuses. But at the end is the move we're looking for. And that's what we said, technology in exchange for peace. And we always said that, recently said to our team, the best moves Keshe Foundation ever made, or one of the best things happened to Keshe Foundation in the life of the Keshe Foundation, is to come across John and to build that Arizona Center that is ready to be occupied for literally a place where nations who want to work can work in peace and work towards a space technology and peace. And the same time in Iran, we have secured a, what we call universal position in Iran at the very highest, best universities in Iran, and gradually will run this. We first teach the Iranian scientists to come to one point in the 3-day conference, and immediately after that we invite the world leaders and scientific leaders to come to Tehran, that the Iranian scientists will teach them. Everything is on move, unless something happens drastically one way or another. You will see in the next 3 months, 6 months, Keshe Foundation teachings will be right across, and we use centers we already have. It's a very exciting time. It's a very peaceful time. And it's amazing how everything is taking shape. We wished it, and we found peace, and we found love in loving each and everything we do, and now we are where we are. And it's amazing how everything has happened in the past 3 and 6 months. Very amazing. And for 14 years, we tried to break through 15 years. And when we changed course, everything changed. We'll see in the coming time.
Would you like to tell us what to expect on the 21st or 20th of March relative to the TV? Are we going to be able to tune into the channels right away?
A lot of things are happening. They're trying to do their programs. We're trying to have a live TV if we could arrange it. We find it a lot of obstacles around here at the moment, but hopefully, as usual, Keshe Foundation gets there the last minute. So we will go to the representative group on Tuesday meeting. I think they have one 12 o'clock, and we bring it in a very fast way to be and how we can do. And how our teams in what we call different aspects of television will play with us and go deep inside to be able to deliver the, what do you call it, the technology. And then we see, we can't, everything is set up by what you call the head of the Keshe Foundation TV, Neil, and he has a collaborator, which is the British side. It's a very good match because when one is asleep, the other one operates, and the other one operates, and they collaborate. And the studio in Linz will take shape in the coming days and weeks, and we'll see how we go. Our priority at the moment is many things coming together and keeping everything at the same time running, the research, the development, the movement of the TV, the peace talks, the Iranian position. It looks very calm, but there is a lot of work underneath getting that. But we'll see what comes up. On Saturday, we open up for about 2-3 hours. Then on what we call Sunday, we try to have a live broadcast, and we'll see how we can bring things to be shown. And then we'll take the next step.
Mr. Keshe, this is Yvonne. Can I ask a question off topic here? There's been a number of earthquakes in Iceland over the past couple of weeks. I don't know whether you've noticed. Is that significant of anything?
No, I don't think so. We get these things. These are normal this time of year sometimes. Earthquakes at this moment, not really, but it's normal things.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Keshe, when you've helped other, let's say, beings or civilizations join the universal community, I believe, and did they have the same sort of issues on a planet, or where they were inhabiting that, even though they're all the same beings, that certain ones wanted to dominate over the other certain ones and to keep that position? Or was it totally different sort of circumstances? If you could share.
More or less, everything is the same everywhere.
Okay.
Mr. Keshe, do we have a party for Nowruz with our friends from Farsi language?
Pardon?
Do we have at the television a party for Nowruz? For yeah,
I don't know. I don't think so, maybe. But the Iranian have recorded their program on Friday in Iran National Television Studio.
yeah.
I've seen some of the pieces of it. I can share something with you, which is just coming from Iran. You will see it in the Iran National Television. I don't know if they like it for me to share it, but it's something is nice. We think Iran has a tradition that we set a half scene, like you have a Christmas tree and a Christmas table. It starts with 7 S's, like the what you see, and it's important to set the table. And it's been shared with us this afternoon. This is what they are setting up as I have seen for KF television in Iran. It's Iranian complete set. But it has another meaning in the culture of Iran, which the Keshe Foundation, knowledge seekers in Iran have set it this way. And it has a huge meaning because in Iran, the tradition is that we put a holy book and of Quran, or Christians put the Bible, and the Zoroastrians put the original writings. And this time they put the Keshe Foundation, the books, which is become the ethos of the science in the Keshe Foundation in the new year. It's the understanding of the, what you call, the culture. This is what we call a half scene, is 7 S's. Original was to be 7 shares, but started with SH, now is 7 S's. And everything has a meaning and a symbol. But we celebrate the Iranian New Year. Actually, the Iranian New Year is just about before we started. When we started at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And the Iranian community has already recorded their what we call the program with the help of the national television.
Thank you. Looks beautiful, and I can't believe it. They put the books. So it's equality now between science and theology. Yeah.
All right, is there anyone else who'd like to share, ask a question, enlighten us? This is the most fantastic news I've ever heard. Quite proud of you. And I'm sure we couldn't have done it without you being here. That we just go back to millions of years of the same old, same old. And the way we're going to keep it is by the elevation of the soul of the man, Mr. Keshe. We're going to keep this peace on this planet. And
We don't see it to break up because we'll see skirmishes. That is normal human being, little bullies around the corner doing their work. But in general, unless something goes drastically wrong, which the whole human race will collapse around it, we don't see any what I call wars to recur. And as long as the corona lasts, we have that window of opportunity to show the alternative. And one of the most important things for us now, we're working very rapidly in the background, is to show the Keshe Foundation technology with Corona works in finding that as a passage of the way to share knowledge and technology. But this is a lot of work. But as long as we have the situation of Corona, we do not see, as we've seen battles of the past with the human race. Maybe stupidity of a few long-range missiles, but these are not even considered to be on the hand. If you remember, we had North Korea right on the top for months and months, and what happened? Now nobody hears about their work. They decide what is the news, and now we change, we decide what will move. And more or less we're in that position. More or less we are positioned exactly where I wanted the Keshe Foundation to be, and it took me a long time to plan it this way, but we lost the footing in one place by the work of the, again, those in unwanted nations who we were working with. But if you look at it, where have we placed? Where we placed ourselves? We're in China, well established. Now we have taken over 99%, actually 100% shareholding of a major Chinese company, completed this week. We sit in Tehran. We sit in Europe. We sit in the United States. We sit at the moment in the center of power. We have positioned ourselves this way deliberately. And I always thought if we can achieve this, then we are always part of the largest groups, nations, and influential groups and nations. And we are more or less exactly where I wanted to be 15, 20 years ago. Then, because we are owned all together by one organization, we can shift technology from one to another, but bargain with the nations on how we want to bring it in. I have a long negotiation next few days with the Chinese. Huge long one, because now establishment of the Keshe Foundation in China, we have 5 companies, one of the major holding, and is again on a personal ownership, and which has never happened in China. Then we have the collaboration in US, we have European base in Austria, and now we have a fully fledged, complete organization on the name of the Keshe Foundation in Iran. So we can transfer technology to anywhere. And many of you have established different Keshe Foundation companies, as we are pushing you to do, and you've done for years. So we're transferring knowledge internally. We don't need governments to stop us or to lead us. We have set a beautiful structure for leading from the front, but through our own internal organization. I work in a very hidden way, but in a very solid way, finding people who work and are loyal and they can work through. And we see now Mexico is coming into operation in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully. And the whole structure is we move technology to Arizona. Nobody needs to tell us what we can do or we cannot do, because we are partners. We own Keshe Foundation USA and Keshe Foundation Global, still sitting there. We see they are playing with shares. We're trying to hold a lot of things back deliberately. And in China, in where we wanted, it's exactly how I planned years ago, but I always wanted the Africans to be part of it. Brazil is, now we have established company in Brazil. I can transfer my knowledge to any government anywhere to create peace condition. They don't need to come to us. We already moved inside. We are established in 51 different companies around the world. And it's more or less, we are untouchable in sharing knowledge. We can share with Rick tomorrow how to make a flight system as much as I can share with John, or with Rafael, or with Angel in Mexico. This has taken a long time, but governments cannot stop the Keshe Foundation spreading the knowledge amongst its own organization and company. It's impossible. And this is how we want it. And hopefully within short time, Keshe Coin will come operational international. As a solid base currency. And you all know what is the value of the coin and how much it gives on return, if you ask for it. We have the whole structure vertical. And it's taken time. We spent time, we spent a lot of it, went through a lot of hardship. But more or less, we lost a lot. We lost millions on the way. But it's worth where we are, where we sit now. And all our losses was, we were set up to lose. We were betrayed. One day, I opened the book. We didn't lose because of incompetence. We didn't lose because of the trust. We were set out. We were betrayed from inside. But in a way we learned. The more they stopped us, the more we developed. And now, if everything goes according to what we see, we are moving in a very beautiful direction. We have received a massive, unimaginable cash financial support that nobody could imagine. It was just put on the table 24 hours ago by government. It will change a lot of things for us, but it takes years to get it organized, to be done. The Chinese Congress finished yesterday on the 12th, and we will see what the National Congress has decided on the Keshe Foundation, because it was part of the Congress agenda in the background in one of the committees. We were literally on the agenda of the National Committee and how our technology is going to be done, and we're expecting in the next 7 days to see what is being legislated for us to move on. I don't think if you, pardon,
Sorry about that.
if we receive such a backing from two nations, I don't think the Americans will stay quiet. And we'll announce it. We'll most probably shape it and form it in a way we see in the next few weeks. Carry on.
Oh, I was thinking of the story of Li Fang. Is there something you could share with us? I know you said you'll be in long negotiations with China. Is there something you could share with us about this Li Fang award? Or I know Li Fang is a total giver. I read some of the stories on the internet about him. I don't know for sure if he's a mythical figure or he's a
No, he
actual.
was a living soldier legend, which was brought up by Mao Zedong. He was made to be a hero, and a lot of things around him are made to make him that way, for Chinese to be proud to be on the giving side and to be in a way of peace and sharing unconditionally. And overall has been given since was established over 70, 80 years ago by Mao Zedong, is mainly given to the Chinese nationals. And it's not something that is given every year. It's given by choice of the president and the CPC, and is given through one organization who has the right to do so, which is controlled by one of the close relatives of President Xi. And again, it's very much connected with the military of China because of Li Fang being a soldier. And to receive this honor, there are 5 other foreigners who have been given this honor. And it's in a base of giving unconditionally. And it's given by organizations which are appointed by the government. And that's all it is to say it has never been given to two, as an ambassador of Li Fang, to two people at the same time when they're alive. and the fifth foreigner who's been given. So the other four who received it in the past are not alive. And it's ambassadorial ambassador of peace in a way. It's on the Keshe Foundation, what do we call it? Timeline.
We showed it earlier on the creation of the Universal Council. I think it's in the.
I was looking at the pictures of it. We were shifting some pictures a few days ago, and I saw the pictures. It's like a ceremony. It's not. There is a man who's appointed by the government to give the title, and is an office. They invite you to it. They have all the cameramans and whatever to take the pictures when you receive it. It's a very prestigious title to be given by the Chinese. When you wear the badge of Li Fang, everybody in China knows, because I was asked to wear it all the time when I was traveling. And when the people see it, they know immediately. And they respect you for it. And especially when a foreigner wears a Li Fang honorary badge, is very strange to them. It's a very strange thing to wear because they don't expect a foreigner to be given this position. He's a national hero. It's not something that is likely taken. You're taught from the day you go to school about Li Fang and how the Chinese have to be like him. But they say some of this mythical and some of it is facts, but nobody knows. The two have got too much mixed up with each other. As a Chinese politician, or what they call a security guy, told me, is more important than you getting a Nobel Prize in the West. We value this very high.
Could I show that award on the screen right now?
Yes, it's there. It's in public domain. We are not hiding it. It's something when we received it. It comes with a certificate. It's not just a badge. It comes with, and we have it's very much given by ceremony.
The story I was reading was he was a younger man, and when the troops, if they went out to march a long time and they got back to the barracks, and if their feet were sore, he would help the other ones by soaking their feet in some solution to make it better for them to feel better. Or if they had a hole in their sock, he would sew it for them. Or if another, yes.
He had no conditioning giving. That's the beauty of what they understand. It's part of the culture, encouraging the nation not to be selfish, putting the others ahead of you, ahead of yourself. But it's a position, it's an honorable position you're given, and it's a beautiful thing to be when a nation respects that position, because after that it came to become only member of the United Nations. What do you call food security, international food security. And these are just only positions you're given or you're asked to accept. And the most important thing is how you value your position in the whole structure. And if you are there, to be able to make a positive step towards it. What does it do when you're there, and what changes you can bring, or positive moves you can bring? It's when you are honored and respected. Only in the West we see deliberate acts to sabotage Keshe Foundation in China, in Iran, and other places. We don't see this. It's totally opposite. Totally, especially now, has become totally opposite. This is the way it is. It's very much, if you speak to people, I said this before, in China, when you fly, military and government officials, high-ranking officials on board of a plane only sit in row 1. That's the rule. And the row 2 to whatever is economy, and what they call it, business class and the first class, and then you have the economy. I have never flown anywhere but row 1. The Chinese government does not allow me to move. I just book a normal ticket, but my seat is allocated as a high-ranking official, and I always sit with the government officials in the row 1, nowhere else. And for example, we fly with Wang Lin or Chinese team, it's always the same. They respect you for your knowledge, and they look after everything. It's not just giving a honorary position or whatever, but the whole structure of the Keshe Foundation in China is very different than what we are used to in the West. They mock you and they make all sorts of fun of you because it's worth doing it. Is something proven to be to them, but not to Chinese. When you, it's a different ball game. I think in the coming time, the biggest problem will be how the knowledge seekers will be respected according to what they do. And how we accommodate these kind of positions. Trying to take some of the pictures which national securities cannot be shown in the picture for security reasons, especially officials from Chinese military, is important that they cannot be seen in these kind of pictures. But the people standing on either side of me are the heads of the national security and people officials from the Chinese government. And it is rather interesting to be able to reach to this kind of understanding with governments.
Is there anyone else who'd like to share something? I know Jalal has to get up in about 4 or 5 hours to teach a class tomorrow.
Thank you very much for all your hard work, Jalal.
Yes, we agree.
It's a big carpet and it's got many corners, as I always say, and it needs many of us to carry it. It's got too big. It's got far too big for one person to carry this huge basket of knowledge and a lot of ethos of it. Even though there are many who would like and are doing their best to damage as much as possible, but in a way the technology stands on its own. And we are a scientific organization, as always said. And this is the beauty of it. Any other points?
Mr. Keshe, I want to thank you very much for all your work.
I thank you all of you for what you have kept with the Keshe Foundation. It's all of us. It's not anymore one or two people. And each one of us carries this huge carpet in one corner, as I always say. It's not easy. It's not going to get much easier. The biggest problem we'll have in the Keshe Foundation is a number of knowledgeable knowledge seekers who can come forward to start teaching mass of millions who come forward to learn. This will be the next biggest problem for the foundation. We do not have enough educators in the Keshe Foundation. Or those who are, once they come forward, they think they have to change everything and they are everything. They forget about their position and who they are. And this will be one of the biggest pitfalls of our time. We are facing it now. We've seen it in even, they're just trying to organize the 3-minute Keshe Foundation things. They suddenly get lost in it and their position becomes very important to them. And it's amazing and how many knowledge seekers we have. I was discussing this with our team this afternoon, how many knowledge seekers um, like Alex, like Armin, like knowledge seekers with the depth of knowledge to become the teachers do we have? And how many are there who know but they don't come forward that we can teach, or they are too shy to be in the front, and the people in the front? We've seen it in the past few hours, how suddenly knowledge seekers being appearing or being able, might be in the television, they suddenly become God. We've seen one or two moving around and one or two moving out, because now the whole thing, they are bigger than the Keshe Foundation. People like Jalal to teach, and people like a number of people, but how with such a limited numbers we're going to teach billions? This is our biggest dialogue, and this is something that now in Iran we have started contemplating on.
You mean their head gets so big they couldn't make it through their own front door? Some of them?
More or less, yeah. I think the Keshe Foundation is too small for them, if you understand what I mean. The Keshe Foundation is far too small for them. Their head doesn't fit into the door. And this is one of our biggest problems. We don't have, and the Iranian officials are trying to find a solution for it. And we are seeing a channel of mine to do, because it's now is on the discussion table. How do we train? We don't have enough knowledgeable Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, and how much pressure we can put on ourselves and extend this. It's a part of the bigger problem we have now. And how do we bring it out? How do we allocate it? Who is going to be? How are we going to? How are we going to show it to our people and teach it? This is one of your biggest problems, not mine. You're the teachers of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. How are you going to do this? God help you. I'm just a witness to it, but this is what I was looking for. I had to got told the people around, this is the certification of the NIFAM. Not only the badge, but it's when you're given the ambassadorship. We don't have enough knowledge seekers the way we are breaking through. We're looking for in every language. We start making a list by people, our security in the background, who we have, who still are there. Because once we start teaching in Farsi to the scientists worldwide, who are there to support and the national teams, then would they become arrogant again? Just because they're chosen. We've seen that in when This document started floating around as the teacher of the Keshe Foundation. If they were asked to give 1 hour lecture, now they became professor at Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and how they abused it, charging 30,000-40,000 a weekend, people to come in that they didn't know how to make a coin. It happened in Spain. They start charging and booking hotels, people coming in for a weekend, and huge expenses on people, and they couldn't even show one end of the cord from the other type, more or less. You saw the same thing happen in Germany. Finding humble teachers like Jalal, Alex, and Arman, and many others is not easy. We're here to serve unconditionally, but we've seen in past few hours, past few days, how people who were appointed by the groups to become just a spokesman to a group have decided that they're more important than the others. I know because I'm there, and all the abuse their position. We haven't even got to broadcasting. Imagine if they appear 1 hour, 1 minute on the television. Now we have to deal with gods and goddesses. That is why every member of the Keshe Foundation, anybody appears in any program anywhere, will sign that they have no rights to anything. It belongs to the whole of the organization. These documents will start flying out in the next few days.
I heard an interview from Yul Brenner. He was starring in The King and I. And he was doing 8 performances a week, twice on Sunday. And he did over 3,000 performances. And they asked him how he did that. And he says, well, the important thing, of course, is that it may be 3,000 performances for me, but for the audience is the first one and the only one. That's had a lot of impact on my life. I think it's been about a couple of decades since he had that interview and he said that, but you know, it says a lot about the character, but it also isn't a testament to why he was so successful, because every performance has to be fresh. The audience doesn't care, they don't know. It's they paid their ticket, they come to see, and it's the first time they hear it. So it's
So
been
again, I got a long way to go to about 2,000. Now we're on the 370.
yeah. So
And we're only on 21. you got a long way to run just to catch up with me. Forget about him.
well, I'm not in a race, to tell you the truth, but you know, it's see, the most important thing is to have fun along the way.
I think part of what it is, I will ask your teachings from number 1 to be edited, to be shown on the TV channel from the first days, that people come to understand new ways. Maybe we split it in 2 or 3 a week. Doesn't matter if it's by even a screen presentation, or if you want to put a picture to it. But it's something we have to consider, because it's not just showing nanotechnology, but bringing new ethos, new way of understanding. And next day or 2, hopefully with the people who are editing will take up your teachings to be shown in line with the others. Because we have to show a totality. I was talking to one of the world leading nuclear physicists, literally one of the world leading nuclear physicists, in the past few hours, a couple of days. And I explained to him about plasma technology. He said to me, you know, if anyone can manage to understand the principle of energy and conversion of the energy, then with the space technology is finished, because we can produce everything we need. We can create machines which can create material as we need. We can produce machinery which we don't need food. Then we become independent. We can travel to depth of the space and everything else. I said, yes, we already done. He said, you shocked me. How come I've been left out of this? And he was in the presence of one of the knowledge seekers. He grabbed the 3 books and he says, I have to educate myself. I've fallen behind. The world of science has to be shared equally. And we don't have enough people in Keshe, unfortunately.
Well, I sent 30 files this week, so
Where did you send them to?
the KF Telegram.
To where? To mine?
No. To the Telegram admin.
Which one? To education?
I was contacted by Stanley, and I sent it to him.
It's in our hand. Yeah. That's still all going to be loaded up as teaching programs into the, what do you call it, television program.
Well, my problem is I have to learn many languages.
No, what we do, we put this and they get subtitled, and the languages will add to it.
Oh, I know. I'm just joking.
I've seen you go to Italy and Brazil, and you learn Italian and Portuguese very fast.
Oh my God, the Italian community is on fire.
They're ready for Thursday, and they're ready for a lot of things, I think. The same with the Brazil.
Both Brazil and Italy are doing a fabulous job. There's some really, really powerful people organizing it. It's wonderful.
I think you'll have a surprise in the coming time with especially the Iranians, some of the people you know. They're in the television studio, Tehran Central Television, and there are some funny pictures that you will see in the collection of the Keshe Foundation in the program which will be broadcasted. You'll be amazed how the same person in the West and the East looks totally 2 different ways. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
So being processed through the unit will not necessarily, it might show you more about yourself or bring yourself into balance, but it won't increase your knowledge of this knowledge.
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, if someone gets processed in the unit, I know at some point in time, you said it was a practice unit in a way for certain things where you could learn to separate or to meet your soul, and also to understand what it's like to separate at that point in time. But it won't show you any technical knowledge that you would be able to share a deeper understanding with the others. Or is it
What?
balancing the body or elevating the soul will not necessarily give you more of this plasma technology knowledge?
Mankind will learn something very, very fast. And that is, once you reach the level of the elevation of the soul, the knowledge of the universe in different level and strengths will open up to you. It's not that going to school, it's opening of the knowledge of the universe on extension of and the strength of the inner sanctum of the soul of the man. And this is the beauty of it. It's how as we come closer to the sun, we are absorbing higher order energies, and with it, we become more aware of higher intelligence, of understanding. This is one of the benefits of man being in the right time, right place, in a way. Now, understanding the elevation of the soul, then it brings a new understanding. And we will understand beyond imagination the strength of knowledge. We understand, we get enlightened by a knowledge that we could never imagine in the realm of the physical life of present time. This is the beauty of it. This is absolute beauty of the extension of the knowledge to enlightenment of the soul of the man. And we learn. And then we say, oh, interesting. How much more it depends on the enlightenment, how deeper you can go within the strength of the soul, and how much will be opened up to you with it. It's not that you on earth, when we go towards the sun, we change. We lose the cycle of physical life the way it's happened to Venus. Or we see what happens to Mars. But in elevation of the soul, you reach the level of the understanding of the intelligence of the Creator. It's totally different dimension. One is the demise of the man, and one is the elevation of the soul of the man. And mankind cannot understand that. When your soul become aware of higher level of existence within the structure of the creation. As we go to the source in the physical dimension on earth, we dive and there become the heat of the sun, and the position and the magnetic field motion will end the physical life. But in the essence of the creation, when you go more to the center towards the Creator, you become more knowledgeable. Awareness of the knowledge of the creation in a bigger dimension. And mankind has not got the intelligence at this moment of time to understand this.
Mr. Keshe, did you hear that many people will protest from many countries on 20th? It is organized at the global level. Maybe it's linked to his Mitra's light.
20
March.
20 of March at around about 1 o'clock, 1:30 is the beginning of the spring. When we move into the new, what we call new first half of the spring and summertime, is the equinox. In the other end, in the middle, and in so many ways, then we move towards what we call more daylight into 21st of June, but 20th of March. That's why we started at 9 o'clock, that we synchronized with the time when the beginning of the spring starts. And it's a new beginning, it's a new beginning of September, what we call spring. But the first day of the spring is literally 21st of March. But the actual spring starts by the time of measure over thousands of years and centuries in Iran. We measured per second when we enter the time of equinox. That every year changes by around about 5 or 6 hours. Everything is set up to start a new life, and hopefully we'll see some positive moves in the next few days and next few weeks, and we move into a very, very, very prosperous year this year. I think it'll be the year when mankind will collectively accept world peace in a large measure. Our biggest problems will be our military in not trying to lose their position as chief of staff and chief of navies and chief of armies and the rest of it, and those who made a lot of money out of military bases, arms and the rest of it. And this is going to be, you're going to be attacked in 2 directions unless one breaks, the other or both decide to change. One will be military and one will be religious. If we had try to listen to the talks of Ayatollah Khamenei on Thursday morning, our time, 3 o'clock in time in Tehran, around that time, how the religious leaders look at the future, what to come. And when you listen to it, it's very much what we have been striving and where we stand with it.
I am happy that Mr. Alex will teach all of us at international level. Will be nice. because I love him and I trust in his knowledge and teaching, and I am his advocate. And maybe Mr. Keshe also will teach us, and or we can't import the Thursday teaching to our each language channel, and to adapt for the TV, the teaching. I don't know. Some ideas came on my mind now. What do you think about this?
Dan has put in the chat, don't forget Wednesday's interview at 21:30 CET in Italian Radio 1111. So I guess you're having an interview this week, Mr. Keshe?
Like last week, yes, at the moment. And um, yes, it'll happen that way. Maybe what we are trying to organize in so many ways, we'll see how we'll turn out for the 21st Sunday morning, 21st of March. We are planning something very interesting in the background, if we could do, and if I could get the permission to do it. It'll be interesting if it can be arranged, and that we can take that a step up. We gotta wait till around Wednesday before we know it. But there'll be a number of interviews coming up around the world with what's happening and what is about to happen.
Perhaps you can just show a small toy car flying as just an appetizer.
Yes, that might choke you as an appetizer. There are a lot of things in the background. A lot of things will happen, but you got to realize a lot of things cannot and will not, and we have to play a lot of diplomacy and diplomatic moves. A lot of things has to happen at the same time. And this is not a game to leave anyone behind. We would like to show it, but even if we show it, we don't tell you till the last minute, but don't put your hopes on it.
I think we're approaching midnight in Europe.
Yes, and we better take some rest. We've got a long week ahead of us. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully next Sunday we have a much deeper understanding of what has started and what is started.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you always.
Thank you very much. Good night from us.